I don't have a sense of chauvinism about one tragedy over another. Part of the experience of writing this book was to learn about other horrible events in recent modern history. Like, there's a woman actually here at the book fair who has a book out about the Mau Maus and about what happened in Kenya. And I would only know about Kenya because of the research I did in my book. What happened in the Ukraine, incredible, horrible, large numbers of people starving to death there under Stalin. So no, I didn't have that feeling. I have a different feeling about what happened under the Nazis to the Jews. I really had felt, and maybe this is because I'm Armenian, but I really felt that what had happened was defining in terms of who we are as people, as how we define humanity. On a micro level and on a macro level, whether we can really deal with major tragic events, and that pertains to today's political environment. Like, what are we doing about Syria? What are we doing? But on a micro level too, especially, I mean, there's not as much documentation for the Armenians as there was for what happened to the Jews. But when your neighbor is a Jew and needs to hide, do you do something about it? And what is a good neighbor and what is a good person? I think all these questions were brought to high relief under the Nazis, and we must, it's our duty to ponder what this was. Likewise, the same is true for the Armenians, but you have to go back so far in time, and this was a challenge for me to write the book, to just get the factual information, and that research is happening right now. It's happening in Turkey, it's happening in the United States, it's happening in Germany, archives are opening up. I was able to access some of that information while I was putting my book together, just in terms of like the Armenian genocide. What was it? Was it genocide or was it just massacres? And I wasn't really clear on that. And then I read, and then I got deep into some of the work, and I learned, oh yeah, you can't define it as anything but genocide because you've got leaders who make decisions to wipe out indigenous people. That's one way to put it, because you put it that way and then you see the parallels even here in the United States regarding the Native Americans. Right. There are these vast areas, we want them. Let's get rid of the people who live there. And that's what they did with the Armenians, just like here. It was part of 19th century, 20th century. It isn't ended yet, a way of doing things politically. In the case of the Armenians, vis-a-vis the Nazis and the Germans and the Jews, there were techniques that were being developed with the Armenians, how to trick large numbers of people, tell them that you're just moving them somewhere else, someplace that it'll be okay where you're going. Those people not knowing that they're basically going to die wherever they're going, however they're going. And so those things and that has a lot to do with mass media, also something we're still dealing with today. Anybody who thinks that our general consciousness regarding any of these events is not important, you're missing the point. When we make things on the mass media, those leaders listen. People hear, they know. The Nazis knew that the world was watching them. The Turks knew that they were being watched and were already preparing excuses for after the war. And there were trials, and they were convicted in absentia. All these men who, in my book, are assassinated, they actually had all been tried and convicted in absentia of war crimes. And these things are important. I mean, we need to embrace international political legitimate means of putting pressure. I've been a member of Amnesty International since the mid-'70s. I believe in this stuff. It may not be the sexiest stuff in the world, but it's the only way that you can affect any kind of change.